Thanks for joining us again. Slasher, Ripper, episode 4, Jared. Right in the guts of it. Now we're in the middle. Middle section.
Pardon the pun. Not that anyone has any guts left.
No, there's plenty of it flying around at the moment. All right, straight off the bat, I enjoyed it. Another good episode.
Yeah.
I got quite a few laughs out of this week's episode for reasons that, I probably shouldn't be laughing at some of it.
Well, I mean, how could you not?
Some of it was hilarious.
Yeah.
First things first, though. Finding some teeth in your meat pie? Holy shit. 4 and 20's in stride if I find a fucking gold tooth in a straight steak and kidney.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was fucking kidney, alright.
Sorry, that was a bad choice of fucking pies.
Yeah, maybe pepper steak or something.
Because we open up with these guys gorging on some pies.
Yeah.
So
most of them are just politely nibbling. There is one particular person who could be described as gorging.
It's the whole crew that were in the photo, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so it's Garvey, it's the chief of police, it's
the surgeon, Salome,
and he's
one of the Botticelli sisters.
One of the sisters, and he isn't. What was the guy's name who runs the brothel? Was Salome? Was he there?
No, he wasn't there.
All right, so we had the crew. They're eating some pies. And the fucking chief is basically...
Superintendent, whatever his name is. I can't even remember his name.
The superintendent is just... He's absolutely jamming it down.
He's scoffing that down. Swilling wine.
Clearly he hasn't had a meal in a while. And he's talking while he's eating too. That's what I like.
He's chirping the whole time about how good the pies are.
Then he comes across a couple of gold teeth and proceeds to vomit on his shoes.
But the way he does it, so if it was me, I'd probably be kind of, reaching in to grab it, but he kind of he sticks his tongue out with a tooth on it.
That's a tooth. And then he just goes,
But I mean, again, we're presuming he's still as high as a kite at this point. But
you know what? You should have just eaten it.
Yeah, but he's like, everyone else's dialogue is kind of pushing around what's going on, and he has a couple of lines of that, but then he starts going on about, it's a little bit gamey, a little bit more gamey.
Yeah, he starts sort of critiquing the pie.
Yeah, before, as you said, he finds a couple of teeth, and then we get the credits, and then we go.
You know what, though? You know what? Remember in it was the second episode, the surgeon told him that cocaine was totally harmless.
Yeah.
I think around this time is when they decided it wasn't.
Correct. Yeah.
When they saw him in full cry, they were like, "Oh shit, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not harmless at all."
I mean, I couldn't stop laughing. It was everything he was doing in that scene. As I said, it was before we'd even found out about the teeth in there. He's fucking reaching over people to grab the wine and fucking just carrying on.
Oh, this was him in full cry. This was his best episode, no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt about it. And look, we do actually get a little bit more sort of character development about him.
Yeah, down the stretch. Which I
thought was good.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it falls into a bit of a trap that Flesh and Blood fell into as well. And I'll get to that later on. But we then find a fucking human spine at the butcher's.
Oh,
that guy, bring in the health people.
I was going to say, even before I found out that he was accidentally serving human flesh, I was not buying from the butcher. I was not eating from there.
He looked dicey.
I mean, I dread to think what the fuck ended up in the fucking sausages. The good shit was
the hooves and arseholes. Literal hooves and arseholes.
Exactly.
Okay, meat's expensive. Like, getting animals is expensive and killing them is difficult. So you ground up a fucking human, did you?
Yeah. Thanks, Yogi. Keeping us all in meat at the moment.
Yeah. Do you want to go out of business? Because you're fucking making the right moves in my book.
Again, the chief in there, the superintendent in there comes up with something. I couldn't remember what it was, but he talks about it. He's,
he brushes aside.
He talks about something or other. Oh, yeah, it's called human meat or whatever. And he kind of says, which I don't mind saying, I indulged in myself or something like that. It seemed like he was, I don't know whether I missed the line or what he was actually saying.
Was he just disregarding this?
It seemed like he'd kind of just sarcastically taken the piss out of himself for a moment, but possibly also, you know, the truest things are said in jest. I think he admitted that he enjoyed the pie, regardless.
Yeah. If he hadn't run across a molar, he would have fucking nailed the rest of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Holy shit. That's what I love about this guy. He's just a loose cannon. Like
yeah.
You know what? There has not been a character as loose as this guy in anything.
And that's I think he's quickly nudged his way up to possibly my second favourite character in the entire series. Possibly still behind Cronenberg. He might even be in front of Cronenberg. If Cronenberg had been on coke like this guy,
he would have been great.
But yeah, I love it. Again, he seems to be making sly gags, but then as soon as they find the spine, he fucking grabs Yorkie. Where's the fucking rest?
Yeah, and by the way, put a couple of sausage rolls in a bag for me.
Yeah.
He's that
Make sure they're the same batch. Just don't tell anyone.
That's right, he's that type of guy. You find a human spine at the butcher shop, but he still wants to pick up a pie and chips.
Yeah.
You know?
They should have had, you know, when he picks up the spine, you see the chief in the background licking his fingers going, oh, shit.
Oh, okay. So who was that from?
What did you happen to put that in? Was that in the fucking Kranskis or what?
Because whatever it was, give me a couple. The chief said later, the superintendent or whatever he is, or lieutenant or whatever he is, he has trouble injecting. Is he injecting the cocaine?
Yeah.
Into his arm?
Yeah.
And then after being told he needs to put it somewhere else, doesn't he? His reply is, fuck your mother and the demon cock you on.
He was alone and he couldn't get it into his arm, so he said, fuck my mother and the demon cock she wrote it on. And then proceeds to just fucking jam it down his throat. Just magic. Absolute magic.
I forgot that he was alone. I thought he told someone else. Shit. Talk about 0 to 100.
Yeah. At this stage,
this guy's redlining 90% of the time.
Exactly. At this stage, it could be charitably described as erratic, his behaviour. He's fucking going back and forth. But he's also doing things like, in the middle of scoffing down a pie, he makes mention that, we've got to do Rondo by the book. And then fucking 20 minutes later, he's fucking torturing the man. That's right. By the book. What book are we talking about?
I'm really starting to get on board the fucking Garvey train as well. Because even in that scene at the start where he's eating the pie, he's supposed to come across as sophisticated, but he's also a fucking ball bag just like the rest of them.
Yeah.
Like,
He's always brushing someone off. He's always looking down on someone. The superintendent, sitting next to him, go, "What do we do now?" And he kind of just goes, "Well, pull yourself together."
Easier said than done by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
At this point, it's easier said than done. He's trying to fucking get himself under control. Trying to still raging about demon cocks and things like that.
I can't believe he was talking about his own mother. I thought he was talking about someone else's. Jesus Christ. It takes on a whole new meaning.
Yeah. But Garvey, as you pointed out before, I'll let you kind of talk about what he gets to, but his form chatting to Rondo in the jail is also excellent.
Because he fucking swaggers on him and he immediately looks at him and goes, "Shouldn't you be able to wiggle out of those ropes all the while pulling a rabbit out of your ass?"
Yeah.
Yep. And he's got that fucking smug look on his face, like... Like, basically, come on. Yeah. Do it, you dickhead. Like,
he is delivering quite the performance.
Oh, it's fucking
brilliant. Like, he also had a line earlier that was making me laugh. Not as much as that one, but I think it was actually right on the tail of telling the chief to pull. He says, pull yourself together. It's fucking George Pick-a-Card Rondeau. Basically, again, just shitting all over somebody's body of work.
It's just brilliant. And the way it's acted too, he's just got this fucking smarminess about him constantly. And I think that, again, we talked about this before, it's a fucking masterstroke of casting.
Yeah.
Because he's always played this likeable, I wouldn't say sort of like second fiddle, but very much, the straighter man.
Yeah.
And this, he's just fucking, he's right off the cuff, and it's really, really good.
But as, you mentioned, he's got his moments to be charming, when you see that, him playing that very well. He's got his moments to be a little bit scarier, and...
Yeah.
I think it's all holding together really nicely.
Yeah, very nicely. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the superintendent was up to with his torturous ways.
No. But as you mentioned... The episode was clearly him at the fucking pits of his fucking spiral.
And that sort of played into more about him. So the episode was basically very superintendent-centric because it was very much about him, his involvement in the party.
His taste for human flesh.
Yeah, his Jeffrey Dahmer, thing.
Yeah, but you mentioned it earlier, the flashbacks, I actually really liked them this episode, because again, they're just shedding a little bit of light on each person's relationship, and I didn't expect where this one went.
No, I didn't either, because I actually didn't expect him to be the one that was kind of like the... Well... Yeah, it's difficult to say because he was not really a knight in shining armour.
He was trying to be. In his mind, he was doing that. But then she fucking pulls him up and says, yeah, whatever.
So what? So you just get to sleep with me whenever you want.
Yeah.
And he's like, he doesn't say anything, but it's clear that was the intent.
So it kind of shows his interaction that, frankly, I wasn't expecting.
It was pretty coke too.
Yeah, it was pretty clean.
Like hell. So, I mean, he didn't know what a good guy now was.
She throws it back on him, and he's fucking spiteful about it.
Yeah, the way he walks back in, and she's obviously being tortured and
overreaction. Let's just say, just a slight overreaction there, Mrs. Superintendent.
Look, why don't we date for a bit?
She's not interested. She's not interested. You don't have to fucking just allow her to be killed. That's pretty clear.
Sad to say, you could probably find a few dick brains who would act in a similar fashion around these days. But
you would hope that that's not the end result.
That's
not the common reaction. It showed a little twist from him, but also showed a little twist from her, because what we'd seen earlier
was her
kind of painted her as this kind of, not necessarily innocent, but almost with an edge of wanting to find a place on the social ladder.
Yes.
So when he kind of threw that out there, I was kind of expecting, oh, right, okay, is she going to accept it? To sort of start a climb?
It has nothing to do with wanting to, more than getting in with the group.
Yeah.
Getting in with the high rollers.
Yes.
So the superintendent would be a sort of a step into that world.
Yes. I mean, once he got fucking in the grips of his coke addiction, you do whatever you want.
She could easily have divorced him and said, irreconcilable differences.
To which he says, fuck you, and it's even copyrighted.
Fuck my mother, that's what he says. Do you know what I mean? Like, I actually thought when he actually asked that's what was going to happen. She was going to say yes, and it was a way of kind of her sort of just sliding into that group.
Yeah.
But then she turns it on him and basically says, well, no. His reaction is, yes, over the top. But I also like the fact that it just feeds back into what happened. Nobody is innocent in this group. We've already had the Garvey's right-hand man try and indicate, well, I was there, but I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Although, what are we doing hypnotising people and making them fucking act like chickens for fucking kicks?
Well, that's what this group are up to.
It's one step away from throwing dwarfs around.
I mean, the chief was only upset because it was holding up the fucking pie service.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the fucking meal?
I'm hungry. I can stop this shit.
Knock this shit off. And see, that was the other part about that I found interesting. The way he kind of stops it and sort of says, "You're all bloody, you're all a disgrace and everything," and takes her out.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're getting this idea that he might have been a sort of a guilt by association type.
Yes. But then he goes ahead and
turns him into an asshole.
Right in it. Yeah.
Again, a good little twist.
Yeah. I quite like that.
What else you got?
Well, the scene of the kill was pretty nasty. Yep. Something a little bit different, like riding him along behind the fucking horse carriage. Oof. Nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Very nasty.
Yeah.
But I also like the way that they kind of intercut him almost kind of asking for forgiveness in a way, but again, fucking 10 seconds after raging about the young detective trying to take his place and kind of just walking down the street just yelling out, "Fucking bastard!"
Yeah, exactly. Great bloke.
But I thought that was all pretty strong.
Agreed. I kind of miss the bloke. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
But that's where one of my dislikes kind of comes in, is that we got some information about him and then we killed him.
Yeah, it seems like as we said, it kind of happened last season as well. As soon as you started to get someone perhaps more prominently involved in an episode than they'd previously been, you could almost count on them being knocked
off. Which I'm not sure if I like that approach, because we want to keep... He's a suspect, isn't he?
Yeah,
I mean, he's erratic. For Christ's sake, look, the crime scenes would be all sorts of wrong if he was doing it.
Yeah, I like it from the sense that they're trying to kill one an episode.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Which is something that I feel is working.
You need that because you need some gore in there every.
But yeah, perhaps I would like a little more variation in when we hit the flashbacks and stuff. It's not all being centered around one person that we kind of can pick. I don't know. Maybe that was just they're getting some stuff out this episode to set us up for some surprises down the track. I mean, outside of that, this was quite honestly probably my favourite episode of the season.
Oh, yeah. It kind of balanced humour with pushing the story further forward.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily something that they've done in massive amounts, the humour. I mean, I think we find a lot of this stuff quite funny, but it seemed this episode, it did seem there was a few intentional...
Yeah, they kind of upped the ante a little bit,
yeah.
Which I was comfortable with, though, because I thought it played well.
Yep.
And that's because we've got the characters to a point where we kind of know them a bit better, and that kind of works in the sense of getting to know them more.
Yeah.
Suspects, not really much in the way of it.
No.
Because I had the chief pinged for a bit there. I was like, so this guy's been spurned by her. Maybe he's gone off his rocker, he's high on coke, he's lost the plot.
Yeah.
But then 5 seconds later he's dead, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Are you going kind of the reefer madness sort of angle, but with cocaine?
I was going, well, when the first murder happened, he hadn't been on the coke.
No.
So surely I was mistaken then.
Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't a lot in the way of adding any suspects to anything.
No. So look, I mean, we've spoken before.
I don't know who to look at.
We've spoken before. Old mate, the preacher's son, has the clearest motive.
Oh yeah, but he's been MIA.
To me, it seems too clear, as in red herring clear.
Mm.
The only thing he was doing was chatting to the widow, forgotten his name, but the guy that killed in the first episode.
Yeah. That's right. He talked to her briefly, but he's not. She's very much MIA, which could actually put him right in the frame now.
Yeah, I'm leaning to the camp of he's too clear. Like the motivation is way too clear. Just retribution with Garvey. Side note: I did go back to the first episode and confirm that it was actually her body, appear to be the same actress that was Margaret Maher.
So I'm just. Unless she's got a twin, I can't see that one playing out.
Yeah. Interesting note. Well, a couple of interesting notes. So my sights were squarely on the surgeon, the doctor.
She seems to be at the...
She was in the mix. I didn't realise she was at the party.
Well,
she was eating the pie. Yes. And I had a close look at that scene. I was checking to see...
she was definitely at the pie eating, but was she in the photo?
She was at... Well, she was at the party where they were making a
chicken.
So...
Okay.
She's in the mix. As I said, I had a close look. Everyone at the table appeared to be eating that pie. So I didn't see anyone kind of try to just pull back. So either that or they...
Throwing spoonfuls past the side of their mouth.
But, according to the chief, they were delicious, so you could probably eat it if you were kind of coming back.
You know what? That would have been his second pie. he's already eaten a couple of wisdom teeth. He doesn't even know it.
Doesn't even know. And then fucking poor old Gladys then cops it about what's in the pies. I mean, Garvey's asking because he's disgusted. The chief's asking because I need the recipe. I need it.
Where can I get more? Did you say human flesh? Right on.
Oh, okay. I think the interactions between Salome and Crenshaw were interesting this week.
Do you feel like that's throwing you something?
Well, because it's now very clear that that she's doing things in the pleasure house, I guess you could call it, that he doesn't know about.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that they had that whole thing about the photos which fit into the sisters' storyline, but also gave them the opportunity for him to say, I'll kick you back out on the street. But I also noted that she was at the party that night, again in the scene with him, with the chicken business, and he wasn't.
Right.
So I'm still coming around to that he wasn't involved on the night.
Crenshaw, you say?
Yes. That is his name, isn't it?
Yes. I think he could be right there. He's kind of been a side player.
Yeah.
But does that once again showcase that he might be the killer?
Possibly.
Because he's not front and centre. He's his side.
Yep.
And usually that's what they aim for.
So I'll give you this. If it is someone in the guilty group I've still got my eyes on the surgeon, just because there's a couple of times when they get a camera angle of her and she's pulling those faces, or there's a couple of things, they made a point of the detective saying, when she started talking about how it went down with Eddie, she says it'd have to be someone with a knowledge of physiology or whatever, and he goes, like you? And she said, yes, but I'm not left-handed.
But I'm not left-handed. But the left-handed thing is I reckon, because we've pointed the left hand out several times.
Yes.
I think it's smoke and mirrors, the left hand.
A little bit of smoke and mirrors. It was
not a left-hander.
It was the left hand that they cut off the head with in that particular episode.
Yeah. Or it's ambidextrous.
Well,
someone who's ambidextrous.
Here's my most out there. And I don't think this is on.
Someone's got two left hands.
Someone's foot. Using their feet. It was my left foot. It's Daniel's able. It's got it. The only person we've confirmed is left-handed is Rondo.
But also the guy who you said picked up.
Well,
he's not like he was eating.
That's hearsay.
That's fucking.
I didn't see him performing surgery. I didn't see him performing surgery. All I'm saying was that was shot to very clearly show us, because he picked it up and then they kind of had a shot of his face and him going, letting it run through his hands, dirt in my left hand. Did you notice that?
Yeah, true.
But other than that, the only one who's confirmed is Rondo. We have seen Rondo doing a bit of black magic work. Are they possibly still going with this whole possession angle, but it's Rondo running the show?
Fuck. I don't feel that's right.
I don't either.
No, and I'd be disappointed.
But the only reason I'm saying it is...
Well, they've been pretty big on the supernatural.
They showed him with some white face paint, some babbling and things like that.
That sort of shit, right.
He's the only one that's been confirmed as left-handed. He also seems to know who's involved. He was there on the night, but he also says in the prison cell, the widow's coming for you and you to Garvey and the superintendent.
Yeah.
So it seems like perhaps he knows what went on later that night. But there was also a couple of little mentions of, they talked about his assistant. And they said he gives the orders, she carries them out. And a couple of little things that kind of said like that, like he's running some sort of show there. that's out there. I don't think that's what it is. But they keep coming back to just this little bit of, you know, he was trying to give the widow some kind of blue concoction.
Yeah, I mean, he's fucking 18th century John Edward stick.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They painted him out as this, and then, you know, Garvey's, you know, throwing the insults out about that. But then we've seen a couple of times
the possession
that he appears to have more up his sleeve than that. Again, pardon the pun.
Because he appeared and reappeared behind that bloke, you know, like he disappeared out of sight.
He was doing what, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I looked at that and I said black magic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've definitely killed a chicken and bathed in its blood before you've fucking done that.
Exactly. And then you put it in one of the chief's pies and he was none the wiser. He scoffed down the beacon all
You put proper chicken tit in there and he fucking throws it against the wall and says, get me a human heart and put it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, okay, so suspects were a bit thin on the ground for me because the episode didn't really delve that deeply into that type of stuff for me. Like, I couldn't find a lot apart from the chief who then was murdered. I was like, oh, right, okay, this fucking ball bag's not involved.
So you were running an operation like he was. You see someone appears in front of you with a scared face, and you say, come on down the station, we've got our man.
Get down the station and fuck your mother as well. And the David Cock you rode in on as well.
Yep.
And now, the interesting angles, okay? We are slowly, like an onion, we're peeling back the layers of this party from 12 years ago. And clearly, something quite awful's gone down with her in a torturous sort of way by the look of what they sort of showed with the lieutenant or the superintendent. We have the angle of the superintendent sort of wanting to whisk her away from it or whatever.
Yeah.
But then we also had that stuff a couple of episodes ago where she's doing a deal with Garvey, or trying to do a deal with Garvey on the side.
Which seemed to come, well, I don't know.
So where's that gone?
Yeah.
Where's all that going to go? Because it's clear that they're not going to... She's going to die, right? Or she's going to get hurt.
Yep.
And they're going to be involved. Now, not necessarily that shit that they killed her and dumped her body out there, but I reckon there's some kind of... clearly there's some kind of incident or something.
Well, I think they all know. I think they all knew what was going on. It seemed like they were basically feeding it to the fucking wolves.
Because they're all scumbags.
Yeah.
So that's the key to all this.
Was there an element of the other pimp, the one that's already been killed, selling her basically to the guy that was killing or had the reputation for killing?
Yeah.
In the first episode?
Yeah, I think so.
So the one thing for me, talking about things that are going to come back, I can't understand why his widow is still around.
Yeah.
Just a couple of scenes.
It's
too
keep
obvious
her
that
out.
she is a widow and they're calling the killer the widow, but I mean, I don't know why she is still around.
She has no purpose. She serves no... Well, as far as I can tell, apart from her being the killer. Because there is nothing else for her to do. I know, she has that weird dream about her husband.
Yeah, she had the weird dream and they talked to her about, we've found your husband's killer and it wasn't him. but that's when she's talking to the preacher's son about vengeance and all this sort of stuff. Which, again, just seems too clear.
I mean, the preacher's son is a red herring if I ever saw it. Like, honestly, we cannot possibly consider him the killer.
He's got a dirty left hand.
He does. Like, and look, he's clearly, when he picks up piles of dirt, it's left-handed.
It's left-handed.
Which says to me, ha! I'm on to you.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'm like you, it's too easy.
Yeah.
He is too easy.
There's a direct line there, and he's
barely even in the show. Like, he's seen in a handful of scenes.
But to me, it's... Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like it's going to be one of those guys on the periphery rather than someone in the group. Because they're all showing up that they've done something pretty nasty. They were all involved in some way so far. Obviously,
what's the connection?
Again, there's more to come.
Okay.
I don't know. My detective work consists of fucking people scrubbing around in the dirt.
Yeah, basically. That's all you've got currently. And yet I've got fucking less.
Yeah, you missed that he picked up the dirt.
I didn't even realise. I thought maybe he used his fucking third hand. But you know, this is the thing for me. If it's a peripheral character, then it's going to be harder to cop.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of be like, well, fuck.
Well, the only peripherals...
How are we going to work that out?
The only peripherals...
Are the Preacher's son?
The Preacher's son, which seems too clear. The
Crenshaw?
widow, who if it is her, I feel like is going to be tied to that possession-y kind of thing with Rondo.
And then
something.
Crenshaw.
And then we've got Crenshaw, who's still in the mix. There's, still obviously some stuff.
Of those three, he's the best, most likely one.
And the assistant.
I didn't even think about her. That's a good one. Should
we arrest her now?
Oh, yes, we should. Indeed. Let's go. Oh, eat a Coke and then let's go fucking arrest her. But if it's someone within the group, because they were forced into doing it, and they're exacting vengeance now for whatever reason. What's the reason behind it? And I always feel like that would be hard to sell. Yeah. 12 years later, you start exacting vengeance.
Within the group, I feel like it's not Garvey.
No.
Because he seems like the ultimate target. I feel like it's not the Botticelli sisters because they got this whole other angle going on with the younger sister.
What the fuck's going on there?
I don't know. Smutty pictures this week.
I know. We're making smutty pictures for no fucking reason. I mean, again, what would be their motive? Like, the young sister could potentially be the killer.
Yeah. We don't know much about where she's come from.
Wrap it up as tight as a bow. I think I've just nailed it. I've nailed it.
Can I say I don't think it's going to be Salome?
No.
Because they're portraying that character as very shifty, but also from an angle of the people that make this show are very in tune with the LGBTQ stuff. They have demonstrated very clearly that they know how to treat these characters with respect and whatnot. And we have a history of, there's been some, stuff about how in the past 30-odd years transgender people haven't always been represented well in this sort of stuff, i.e. Buffalo Bill, the cross-dressers, the killer and that sort of thing. So I think they have more sense than to just say, we're going to put that one as... We're going to put Salome as the killer in this
Salome's
because I think they're...
Salome's a red herring. Because everything she does is shifty. So we can never at any point look at her character at this point in time and go, oh, well, there's different shades. There seems to be a very, very straight line of being kind of a bit underhanded and of being a bit sort of...
So coming back around to it, in the group, that leaves me with the surgeon.
Are you still going to stick there, are you?
Well, I've got nothing else, so I've got to pick and stick.
That's right, Peril. I'm
like the superintendent. I've got nothing to go on, but, I'm hanging outside her house saying, I've got my eyes on you and all this kind of shit. She says this is harassment, and I say, oh, well, fuck.
Harassment?
Give me another vial. I've run out.
There's a lot of suspects.
Yeah.
But no one's really jumping out at me.
Yeah.
I think nothing's really sort of has solidified, which is a pretty good effort as far as keeping us hooked.
Yeah.
Because as you said, first season, you knew who did it in the first 10 minutes.
Yes, I stumbled on that one.
Which can throw things off, like it can ruin your enjoyment.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the way they've handled it so far.
Yep.
All right, I'm looking forward to episode 5. Now we're getting right. We're starting to
thick. We've
just crested. Now we're coming down.
So this is rising action.
Rising action has happened. Now we're going to get to the end. So I appreciate the fact that the quality's been pretty high across the 4 episodes. Some of the set work needs... Some of the cobblestone streets look decidedly made out of fucking polystyrene. But other than that, I think it's held up pretty well.
Yeah, very much so.
All right, that was episode 4. Keep an eye on the Facebook page. Episode 5 will pop next week. But until then, take it easy, everyone. We'll catch you later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.